Fans hunting for a TV show like The 100 since its final episode aired aren't alone, and while few sci-fi series feel like they can match up, one stands out as unmissable. Over 7 seasons, The 100 built a fanbase that was obsessed with its gritty survivalism, moral ambiguity, and apocalyptic stakes. Following Clark Griffin, Eliza Taylor, and her friends as they returned to a ravaged Earth after a nuclear war, the show constantly raised the stakes. It was a post-apocalyptic epic that blended sci-fi thrills with brutal character drama, and even when the story got messy, the tension never let up. The 100 concluding in 2020 left a void, one that could only ever be filled by something just as high stakes, just as emotionally raw, and just as willing to explore the darker sides of humanity. Thankfully, there is another show out there, one that didn't just match the ambition of the 100, but arguably exceeded it. With 6 tightly written seasons, a 95% Rotten Tomatoes score, and a sprawling sci-fi universe that's equal parts action, politics, and philosophy, The Expanse is exactly the kind of show that fans of the 100 need to watch next. The Expanse is about a future where humans have colonized space. The hit series imagines a gritty future shaped by interplanetary conflict and fragile political alliances. Originally airing on SYFY before moving to Prime, The Expanse is a TV show like The 100 in that it drops viewers into a dangerous, divided future where survival hinges on impossible choices. Set hundreds of years ahead, humanity has expanded beyond Earth and established colonies on the Moon, Luna, Mars, and the asteroid belt. However, instead of utopia, The Expanse introduces viewers to a world fractured by inequality, distrust, and looming war. Earth is run by the United Nations, Mars is a military powerhouse with a chip on its shoulder, and the belt, home to miners and laborers, is under-resourced and heavily oppressed. Much like the 100's Ark versus Grounders dynamic, The Expanse thrives on the tension between these factions. The Belters, who have their own slang, culture, and sense of identity, often feel like the sky people of the Belt, born into a life of survival and constantly dehumanized by those in power. Meanwhile, Mars and Earth resemble the more developed colonies in the 100, driven by politics, resource scarcity, and fear of rebellion. The Expanse kicks off its epic space opera narrative with a mysterious ship explosion and the disappearance of a young woman named Julie Mao, Florence Favre, which spirals into a galaxy-wide conspiracy involving advanced alien technology known as the proto-molecule. The Expanse is part detective story, part war thriller, and part political drama, but always deeply human. Fans of the 100 will immediately recognize the morally grey tone and real-world parallels. The Expanse doesn't sugarcoat its themes. Colonization, power, justice, it all comes crashing together in a world that feels lived in and just a little too believable. While the 100 eventually left Earth behind, The Expanse starts with that big cosmic sandbox and dives even deeper. The Expanse has some of the best world-building and character work on TV. Layered character arcs with a richly detailed sci-fi universe make for grade-A viewing. A proto-molecule hybrid screaming in The Expanse. One of the standout features of the 100 was its ability to evolve, both in terms of world-building and character complexity. The Expanse pulls off something similar, but with even greater precision. From the very first season, it's clear that this isn't just another space opera. The show creates an entire ecosystem of political, cultural, and economic systems that feel not only plausible, but eerily familiar. The attention to detail in The Expanse is staggering. Belter culture has its own language, a Creole called Belter slang, hand gestures, and even physiology, due to living in low gravity. Mars, on the other hand, is a disciplined, militarized society obsessed with terraforming its planet, a dream that feels almost religious. Earth is bloated, complacent, and struggling to maintain control. Every faction in The Expanse feels distinct, and every setting has its own rules and rhythm. Characters like James Holden, Stephen Strait, Naomi Nagota, Dominique Tipper, Christiana Vassarala, Shorahag Dashlu, and Amos Burton, Wes Chatham, are as morally complex and compelling as the 100's best. Like Clark or Bellamy, Holden is forced to make impossible decisions that ripple across the solar system. Amos, in particular, channels the same kind of unflinching survival instinct as Octavia, Marie Avropoulos, and Naomi's struggle with identity and loyalty mirrors Raven's, Lindsay Morgan, internal battles. What makes The Expanse a TV show like The 100 is how invested it is in letting its characters evolve naturally, through pain, loss, and occasional moments of grace. There's no hand-holding, no clear heroes or villains, just people trying to survive and do what's right in an increasingly chaotic universe. The Expanse is the right show for fans of The 100. The space opera offers the same emotional weight, moral complexity, and high-stakes drama. Marie Avropoulos as Octavia Blake with war paint around her eyes in The 100 Season 2. For fans still mourning the end of the 100, The Expanse isn't just a suitable replacement, it's a spiritual successor. Both shows delve into the ethics of leadership, the cost of survival, and the fragility of peace in a violent world. Just like Clark had to weigh the fate of her people over and over again, Holden constantly finds himself at the center of decisions that could reshape the galaxy. The pacing of The Expanse is also similar, intense, with regular shifts in tone and stakes. One episode might focus on a rescue mission gone wrong, another on political backroom deals, and another on the terrifying implications of alien technology. It keeps viewers on their toes, much like the 100 did when it suddenly pivoted from tribal warfare to AI overlords and nuclear annihilation. In short, The Expanse is the kind of TV show like the 100 that doesn't just fill the gap, it expands the possibilities of what sci-fi storytelling can be.